YouTube. Today's video, I am out filming a review on my Fazua, and you don't see that is a big old rattlesnake. Actually not that big, but he's definitely a rattler because I can see the rattle in the back. He spooked me. I didn't even see him and he didn't rattle, so that's kind of surprising. Definitely gets the blood pumping and you're not even going downhill. All right, well, that's definitely interesting. Usually I'm hauling up this, just climbing, and spotted him at the last second. But yeah, in today's video I wanted to talk about Fazua and then my experience with this e-bike, and you know, why is Fazua being dropped so much out of so many e-bikes. Like, I feel like it was being put on quite a bit of e-bike, or at least e-mountain bike lineups, and now it looks like there's being less and less being added. Nice. Nice. All right, so for today's discussion, I really wanted to talk about Fazua and how I noticed it's been getting dropped by a lot of manufacturers. I think, ooh, that's a big old tree down. Maybe a second round lap I'll come back and clean that up, but I've definitely noticed that a lot of manufacturers are dropping it. Like Pivot transitioned over to the Bosch series motor, and then well, they haven't, I don't know if they're going to phase out the relay, but they introduced the new Bosch powered motors on those new, I think the regulator, or I'm not too sure of the name, but I noticed that those are now using Bosch. So not entirely sure if there's a shift going on, because I feel like now almost every e-bike is using a Bosch powered motor, or you know, transitioning over to something along those lines. But I know, for example, like YT, the new Decoy SL, uses the Fazua Ride 60. Of course, not too sure if they're gonna continue using it, but there's just a change that I've noticed. I feel that there's quite a bit of e-bikes now being announced, I would say, every year, and it looks like Fazua is not really gaining any popularity. Of course, like, I think now e-bikes have gotten so good that we can have a full powered motor like the Bosch CX5. We can have those in, I guess, lighter weight bikes, and usually they weigh under 50 pounds. And for example, this bike, when it came out, this bike weighed around 45 pounds with the battery installed. So you're only gaining 5 pounds difference, but you're getting a full powered motor capable of 100 newton meters, I think, with the new update. And typically the power tubes are, well, and typically the batteries are around 600 watts. So now I definitely do think, you know, a lot of riders are going to question, well, you know, if I could have 5 pound difference for slightly heavier bike, have full power when I want it, because obviously you can choose how much power you want to use, why not just opt for that extra 5 pounds? And I feel like the people at Fazua are definitely going to be wondering, you know, how can we increase power? Because I feel like these motors, I don't know if they can go up to 80 newton meters, just given that they struggle with reliability at 60 newton meters. So there's definitely a lot of questions to be asked there. And reliability is definitely something that I guess I really want to take into facts, given that, you know, Fazua doesn't really have the best reliability, and also it's like, I don't know how long they plan to last in the marketplace, because if they can't really match up to Bosch's reliability, it's just like, why would anyone ever choose Fazua? Because no frame manufacturer wants to deal with, you know, hearing their customers complain about the motor that decided to put in the bike. That was a hard bottom out. But yeah, definitely interested to hear what other people think. You know, anyone else who may own a Fazua powered e-bike, how you feel about the new bikes getting lighter and more powerful, and of course being more reliable. Like, do you think you'll stick with Fazua all the way, or do you think you'll try to sell off and, you know, then make that transition over to something different? And of course, that's not even talking about the new DJI. I don't know how reliable the new DJI motor is, but I do know that it's exceptionally strong. And DJI as a company is just, I would say, a pretty good company. Use their camera before, and yeah, they always make quality product. Oh wow, I always forget how fast this place is, and all the small bump. But you know, one thing I do like about this bike is the fact that it just eats everything up. Especially here, there's just so much trail chatter that you can go through. I also like how many different lines there are, because it's like a double track here. Also, something that I recently read within the Fazua group chat is that they are no longer doing the 2-year warranty period on new motors, or sorry, on replacement motors. It's now on the life of the bike. So that's definitely something to think about, especially for me, now that I'm almost reaching the 2-year mark. It's just like, I don't know how reliable this motor will be outside of the 2-year period, right? Like, it's something that I'm, well, at least the bike 2-year period, but it's definitely something that I'm thinking about. And I'm sure it's something that a lot of people who ride Fazua bikes is just thinking about, because, you know, although the motor is awesome when it works, do you really want to risk being outside of warranty, given, you know, if you've had to replace the motor, you know, 2-3 times within the year? It's something that I'd rather just have peace of mind and just get something that I know is going to be reliable, going to last me a while. All right, unfortunately just checked the camera and I did not record that last little bit that I was riding downhill, which sucks. But what I wanted to talk about was, for those of you who own Fazua bikes, oh boy, there goes my drivetrain. Okay, for those of you who ride Fazua bikes, are you definitely concerned about the motor and, you know, going forward, or do you think you guys are just gonna try to thug it out, see how long the motor lasts you, and see if you can, you know, just get the most use out of it? And then if you're out of the warranty period, you're gonna go ahead and just buy a replacement unit, and hopefully, you know, Fazua will give you a discounted price. Or those of you who, you know, are like, you know, I don't want to go outside of the warranty period, are you going to go ahead and just sell the bike and get something different? I also want to give a shout out to Todd and T-May for the race face tracer issue. It looks like that's, I think, is going to be my main issue. So what happens is my chain ring will continue to spin even when it's like I'm not pedaling, when I'm just on like kind of like standby. It'll just continue rotating. I think it's because these race face trace hubs are not the best from what I've heard. All right guys, and that's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you guys want to see more content like this, more discussion on this, feel free to subscribe. And if you guys like this video, if you can give the video a like, helps out a ton. Thank you.